Alright, so it's Friday the 13th. Is it any coincidence that a show that I'm really not looking forward to drop today? Probably yes, but I'm just gonna say, you know what, forget it. Anyway, look, this is season 4, quote unquote, of Legendary Defender. As I said before with the season 3 review, I didn't agree with them essentially splitting the season in half and giving us one half 2 months ago and the other half now. I honestly would have just rather waited until now and just get the whole damn thing over with, right? So, but that said, they decided to do this, so season 4, quote unquote, is only 6 episodes. That said, I'm probably going to refer to it as season 3.5 or the second half of season 3 or whatever. I'm basically just going to, in my final thoughts, include this in with the other part of season 3. And if you don't know or don't remember, I actually thought season 3 was pretty solid. It didn't fall into the curse that the first two seasons had, where the more I thought about them, the more I just remembered all the stuff I didn't like, all the stuff that really pissed me off, etc. No, like looking back on season 3, I actually did enjoy a lot about it. Granted, it wasn't like it didn't like renew the whole show in my eyes or anything like that, but it was enjoyable. I dug it. Whenever I think back on it, I think like, that one moment was really cool, or I really liked the first episode, or I'm glad that they toned down on the humor. So we'll see if the second half completely ruins that, or if it carries the momentum. Because if it does, I could easily see myself giving this a 3 or 4 out of 6, maybe higher depending on how it goes. But like, man, well, I just hope the score does not drop like time is done with seasons 1 and 2, reflecting back on those. But who knows? So let's dive right into it. The first episode is Code of Honor. See you in just a sec. All right, so that episode was okay. By the way, spoilers. As I've said, like by now, it's just you should expect it by now. Okay. So Keith has joined the Blade of Marmora, and Shiro is now the Black Lion pilot again. I don't know. I just have a problem with this. Not so much as the fact is fuck Shiro, I like Keith more or anything like that. Uh, it's more that it kind of sort of strongly implies that the only reason Keith is even with the Blade of Marmora is not because of his family history or because he thinks it will be the greater good for everybody, or even that he feels the Blades are doing a great job getting the Gar off everyone's back and that they need him or anything. No, it's because I want Shiro to pilot Black Lion, therefore I'm going to pretty much just abandon my team and the universe to its fate solely on the off chance Black Lion will choose Shiro again, which is dumb and selfish. Uh, so I got a real major problem with that, especially since Keith, at least in the first half, had been showing a slow but steady sign of becoming a more traditional leader, like he was in, Defenders of the Universe. But this now seems to take a backseat. Not only that, but this episode also has a couple moments of the terrible humor returning. Thankfully, it's just a couple moments that's not very abusive, although they did make me go, like, cringe. And it seems, I really hope that the new main team isn't just, everyone except Keith now, which that would just really rub me the wrong way, just in terms of me coming from, 80s Voltron. But, plus, on a narrative level, maybe narrative isn't the right word, but, like, we'll see if you can get what I mean here. We just got Keith to be leader. And now you're already saying, fuck that, and removing him. I don't know, that really bugs me. Like, you take what could have been this big character building idea, and you simply just get rid of it before it even really goes anywhere. I don't know. Just me? Anyway, so like I said, it's not a bad episode. There are places they could go from here, but if they don't, it'll really be pointless. Also, I did like how this episode did lampshade the fact that this is 2 months later, both in universe and in a meta sense. I thought that was cute, actually. But yeah. So next episode is Reunion. Let's see how this follows up. So the second episode hinges completely on if you're a fan of Pidge or not. And as I've made clear in all these other videos, I'm not. So, because this entire episode is focused on Pidge finding her brother, Matt, which, again, I still don't see the point of renaming Chit to Matt, but fine, whatever. Having a reunion, touching family moment, get some flashbacks, etc. Now, maybe it's just that I don't know how siblings work, being an only child. But to me, the relationship they show between Pidge and Chip comes off a little incestuous. Maybe just me. Okay, maybe siblings who love each other really do act like this. I wouldn't know. Okay, like, but no, like some of the stuff some of the angles they shoot from, some of the dialogue they have, like. There's especially one moment where when they finally meet up again and like they're hugging and stuff. Like, I honestly expected them to kiss. Okay, but I'm not saying I want that. That's just how it's shot. Okay, but that said, it's really just kind of a basic episode, like reunion-esque episode. I've seen many of these before. Now. There's not really any evidence to suggest this, I'll admit, but something in me tells me that Matt/Chip here is going to join the Voltron Force, which would be kind of like a shout out to how he was in Vehicle Voltron, but at the same time, I would rather just the show introduce Vehicle Voltron and have him be part of that, I wouldn't see the point in him coming in to all of a sudden replace like Shiro or Pidge or something, unless they want to just move the entire cast out, kind of like how Voltron Force was trying to do before it got canceled. Which, by the way, I think Voltron Force handled that aspect way better, but whatever. Point is, I really hope that's not what's going on, but whatever. If you liked Pidge, which a lot of people seem to, I don't, but a lot of people seem to. This episode probably will be good for you. You'll probably get a lot of feels. You'll probably be like, "Yay! Mission accomplished. Character arc closed." So I don't know. Just me, I could have went without this episode. Like whatever. So, all right. Next episode is. Let me see. Shit, my browser froze. Black Site. Black Site's the name of the next episode. We'll see what that all means. I just want to start off by saying something I forgot to note with the previous episode was that apparently Matt gave Katie the nickname of Pidge, which doesn't really make much sense, nor do they explain it. And with that, this episode, all I could really do was groan. All the crappy humor is back in full swing. And most of the episode is just shilling Pidge and Chip. Not only that, but the action isn't any good. The characterization makes no sense. We've taken a huge step backwards. Yet again, Lotor is the highlight, but just like with Keith, they brought him in, made him a big deal, only to immediately undo it all. Now, especially in terms of the original, this doesn't work, because in the original, yes, Lotor had his own schemes, but Zarkon wasn't ever concerned because he was always better than him. He beat him in the arena, he had Hagar fully on his side, and everyone in the Empire loved Zarkon, for better or worse. Here, I guess they just didn't want to do a Starscream type deal. And now, Lotor and Zarkon are sworn enemies for what seems like no reason, especially since they removed the backstory original Lotor had with his human mother in order to make his grandmother, his mother, which is gross. So yeah, a little less than pleased. This is a huge step down, and I can only hope the second half of this season, quote-unquote, really picks it back up. Because how it's looking is we took 2 steps forward with the first half of Season 3, and now here in quote-unquote Season 4, we're taking 5 steps back again. Next episode is called The Voltron Show. Doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. Let's see if it surprises me. Okay, so, it's funny, because, this is easily the worst episode in the whole show. It's an episode, completely focused on Karan, first of all. So, it's just a wacky ride through and through. A very unfunny, drawn out, embarrassing, stupid, wacky ride. And this show has the balls to make a dig at Power Rangers, mind you. Because, as we all know, this show, unlike Power Rangers, has complete and total dignity. And is much deeper, much more fun, has much better characterization, is completely accurate about its scientific terminology. It's authentic. Look, if you like this version of Karan, if you like this show's style of humor, yeah, you'll probably love this episode. But for me, this episode is the embodiment of everything I hate about this show. If anyone were to ask me, why do you hate Voltron Legendary Defender? I would show them Season 4, Episode 4, The Voltron Show. With people who like to always compare this show to Avatar. At least when Avatar made fun of itself, it wasn't blowing up its own ass. The Ember Island Players episode was the show honestly making fun of itself, having fun with its own concept, as well as being a recap episode. It served a purpose. And it was legitimately funny, and it had jokes about the fan base. It was really well done. This episode is instead going, aren't you guys glad we don't act like this? Aren't we just awesome? This episode was stupid, unfunny, boring, and insulting. Thank God there's only 2 episodes left. At this point, I'm seriously considering quitting this show despite my love of Voltron, because that's been the only thing keeping me going through this terrible reboot so far. Next episode is Begin the Blitz. We'll see how this season finale holds up. It's times like this I yet again have to wonder, why aren't we focusing more on Lotor? Why would they introduce this guy, especially in this season? Why would they introduce this guy solely to get rid of him and keep him as out of focus as possible? Because he is easily the highlight of not only this episode, but almost every episode where he shows up. No, seriously. This episode was an action episode that had the same shitty jokes as usual. was very basic and straightforward, but, in the background, every now and then you get a peek into Lotor and his crew and what they're going through. And, that is way more interesting to me than anything else this season has had to offer. Hell, this show has had to offer. Lotor at least has charisma. He always does stuff that's cool. His actor, you can tell, is just loving the performance. He's fun to watch. I'm rooting for him at this rate. I'm not rooting for the good. I'm not rooting for Shiro. I'm not rooting for Keith. I'm not rooting for Pidge. I'm not rooting for Hunk. I'm not rooting for Lance. I'm not rooting for Laura. I'm not rooting for Chip. And I sure as fuck am not rooting for Karan. I'm rooting for Lotor. Easily the third most evil person we've seen in the show. And that is sad. Because you know what? At least he's actually keeping my attention when he's doing stuff. Horrible as it is to say, the other characters just have done nothing for me. And it's not like the story or action has done anything either. So we'll see how the season finale goes. I ain't getting my hopes up though. It's called A New Defender, and considering the ending of the previous episode, I think I know where that's going to go. Let's find out. So, the ending, combined with the title of the final episode, suggests that Lotor is going to become a good guy. I mean, on the bright side, we'll see more of him. On the downside, him being a good guy is stupid. I feel like if he does become full-on good, and assuming he's not just, trying to use the Voltron Force to his own ends, he's going to basically lose everything that made him fun to watch. Heck, the first half of this episode focuses on him. And I was way more entertained, more invested, more interested in him and what he was going to do, as opposed to the other half of this episode, which deals with the Paladins trying to outrun a planet bomb, which to me did nothing for me. Even Allura's quote-unquote big moment near the end, at least there's no humor in this episode. That's nice. So overall, what can I really say about this show? It's really dropped the ball. When it came to the first half of Season 3, if you haven't seen that, I honestly was looking forward to it. I thought the show was making great strides on improving itself. There were some writing choices I didn't agree with, but I could at least kind of see where they were coming from. Considering that they did just split the season in half, I felt, the second half is probably just going to be an extension of what was set up. And we could honestly have a pretty good arc going. That is not so, because these 6 episodes seem to pretty much go out of their way to get rid of everything that those other 7 episodes strived for. I don't know if it was an issue with writers, or if maybe they listened to fan base input, or anything like that. All I know is this was a huge disappointment, and I really, at this point, don't know if I should continue. Because at this point, is it even worth it? Is there any hope of getting better now that we're 39 episodes? I guess I'm just the fool for continuing to watch. So with that, I'm sad now. If I were to count Season 4 as its own thing, I would give it a 2 out of 6 as of this moment. If I'm counting it combined with Season 3, that is honestly really hard. I guess I would still say a 3 out of 6, because at least half the show I did enjoy. Or season. Now I fully know there is no... That's essentially the message Season 4 brought me. Well, with that, I hope you all enjoyed me rambling. And, if you want, share your thoughts. What did you think of the season? Am I just crazy? Whatever, expect a full-on review for the podcast whenever that happens. Until next time, guys, let's go Voltron Force.